So, Fearsome aggro is an archetype that's been going around for a little bit now. We have a variation of this archetype up on my website that is a small Ionia splash. This build has a small Targon splash for some Pale Cascade, because Pale Cascade is just one of the best combat tricks in the game right now. +2/+1 for 2 is a good rate, and then with Nightfall, so if it's not the first card you play in a round, it replaces itself and lets you draw a card. Fearsome, for those not familiar, is the keyword that is a form of evasion. Make sure units harder to block. So this can only be blocked by enemies with 3 or more power. This deck is also a Mistwraith deck, and Mistwraith is part of the reason why we are a primarily base Shadow Isles deck. So when I'm summoned, give Mistwraith allies everywhere +1 attack. The reason why Mistwraiths make us want to be primarily Shadow Isles is because of Wraithcaller. So Wraithcaller, if it hits its Allegiance trigger here, summons a Mistwraith when it comes into play. So if the top card of your deck is another Shadow Isles card, you get another one of these Mistwraiths, which powers up all your other Mistwraiths. So you want as many Shadow Isles cards as possible in your decks to hit with this consistently. And then Risen Mists is yet another way to generate Mistwraiths. So just a burst speed, put one into play. Now, one of the things that's really important and powerful about this card is the burst speed means this lets you put a unit into play before attackers or blockers and then not pass priority. So this gives you very aggressive opens at the start of the turn because you can add a bunch of power to the board and then attack right away, not giving your opponent an opening to have blockers. The rest of the deck is just like pretty good Fearsome units: Skitterer, Kalista, Elise, Horror, Stygian. We've got a couple of Harrowing here at the very top end of our curve to kind of have that extra oomph in the mid game against mid-range and control decks to end the game. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this and see how it goes. Dr. Uncle Bad Touch. Oh, Twitch usernames. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Alright, so Elise, Noxious Shadow Isles, for those not familiar, is almost assuredly the Spider Burn deck. I'm going to mulligan, definitely the Harrowings. I think we mulligan the Glimpse too, just looking for cheap cards to trade early. This is probably a matchup where we Stygian on one. I just want to curve out here fully. 1 drop on 1, 2 drop on 2. Maybe not Doom Beast on 3. It's pretty annoying. They have a Fearsome of their own here.
There's nothing to fear.
Do I want to horror and block, or do I just want to play an Elise of my own and go on the offensive? I don't know that we're in a position to necessarily be offensive. The problem with this block is we trade for this Elise, and then it leaves a spider behind. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, deal Reno.
I pull the strings.
Remember the objectives. Make the Empire proud.
We could use a bite.
So expect to see this spider get eaten, but these are Fearsome, so these can't block them. Opponent's archetype has a lot of cards like this that are reach that let them jump up and deal damage outside of combat. Doom Beast definitely going to be one of our better cards in this matchup. So let us not only erase them a little bit, but gain some life back. They will also have Doom Beast, though, is worth noting. We'll see my opponent open on attacks with their Fearsomes here. If they don't open on attacks, we're definitely dropping this Wraithcaller. It's a good blocker for their spooky scaries. Wild Lake Trout, welcome. Thanks for the follow. For anybody new, like Wild Lake Trout and a couple other new follows we had here this evening, welcome to the channel. I stream full-time here on Twitch. Legends of Runeterra is the primary game that I play. Probably half or a little bit more of my content is Runeterra stuff these days. I also play a lot of other turn-based strategy games, as well as single-player narrative driven games. I'm usually here 6 to 7 days a week, a few hours in the morning and a few hours in the evening. You can always find my schedule posted of not only when I'll be streaming, but what I'll be streaming when on my website and my Twitter every single Saturday. Well, their Elise is evolving here. It's a little scary.
My true beauty is beneath the
Do I
skin.
recommend Baldur's Gate 3? When Baldur's Gate 3 is finished, it's gonna be a really awesome video game. That being said, Baldur's Gate 3 in its current state is nowhere near finished. It is very much the early access product that it advertises itself to be.
Hush now.
Yeah, goodness.
Death doesn't scare me.
If you are interested in checking out my real-time opinion of Baldur's Gate 3, there's a playthrough of the entire first act up on my YouTube channel. That's all the first act is all they have done so far as content goes. Yeah, Baldur's Gate will probably be one I revisit when they drop the second act. Yeah, I expect the dev timeline on BG3 to be a while, and it's one I definitely plan to go back to when they release more actual content for it. I bought it knowing that it was going to be something that was going to be released over time. They were very, very upfront and clear that it was an early access product. I feel like I got what I paid for, and what they have so far is very reasonable. Wraithcaller here is good. Great. Who are we hooking? Feel like we're in a pretty good spot. We're at 13 here. They have another Elise here. Seems like the reason to offer this trade. What a weird series of plays. So, there's really no reason to Stalking Shadows right now. It's a burst speed spell. We get to bank our spell mana. Is that the winner? Did we just do that? Yeah, let's Stalking Shadows first and see what we get. Let's do the Doom Beast again. Yeah, I'm a little block. I think with Dub's Doom Beast, we're into can't lose territory. We'll see what they play here, but honestly, I might just, like, play Stalking Shadows Doom Beast and then have Pale Cascade and try and push Lethal here. I think that's the play. To quote Captain Farron, let's end this. I think that would be a pretty huge buff Safari hat. Right now, Allegiance is basically the incentive for you to be mono regen. Still dead. Yep. How is Soraka? Pretty slow and clunky Avid Magic player. Did not feel particularly competitive in the more mid-rangey format that we have right now. Ezreal, Draven. I think I'm gonna bottom the Mistwraith here, keep these other three because they generate card advantage. Again, this archetype tends to be kind of mid-rangey. We're attacking on evens here, which is great. Are there any combo decks that are meta decks? Shen Fiora, I think, is a, one of, Precipic the other day described Shen Fiora as Teamer Twin, and I think that's a very good descriptor of it. Yeah, the Go Hard deck's kind of a combo deck. Kinda. I don't know. That's what it feels like a little bit of a stretch definition to me. Nah, Feel the Rush is totally a combo deck. If Sneak and Show and Legacy can count as a combo deck, Feel the Rush is definitely a combo deck. Well, Wraithcaller, you had one job, Wraithcaller. One job. Isn't Fiora more of a tempo mid-range deck? Yeah, it's a mid-range deck with a combo backup plan. Like Teamer Twin was.
Come closer. I don't bite.
It depends on who you ask, Luigi. Like, there aren't super strict definitions of what qualifies as what. Like, for example, I think there's good faith arguments that could be made that, like, sometimes some things that people classify as combo decks are actually just synergy decks.
Now you've gone and upset it.
Okay. Skitter out in the dock. Harrowing's a decent pickup if we live to get there. Put on me mask, secure me tail, start my day. I agree, Sether. I think a lot of the combo decks that end up being playable in Magic the Gathering create very unhealthy, uninteresting games. They're games that generally leave one player incredibly unsatisfied. Really surprised they didn't eat my baby Spooter with this. Yeah, like Lee Sin combo is the closest thing to a Magic deck in Runeterra. And that deck isn't really popular anymore, so like it's kinda whatever.
You'd never ask. Watch and learn. Can't stop me.
Can't die, Ezreal. We're just gonna bank some spell mana here. So, this is a burst spell again, so my opponent does not get a chance to respond after we play it. I keep this as a cheap blocker. Let's take the rest of these. If you enjoy mid-range decks with a lot going on, a very significant chunk of Runeterra's format is that. So, if I Pale Cascade here, they're technically dead to Doom Beast. But if I Pale Cascade and they kill the thing I'm Pale Cascading, I get super blown out. I think I'm gonna go for it. Oh, and you know what? I should probably do it here, so that way if they kill this, they kill this one instead. A lot of usually they don't play Get Excited in Draven Ezreal, I don't think. So you're dead.
Check me out.
So I'll take 8, then Doom Beast will drain them for the last 2 here. Good beat.
It's Draven time.
We had to start keeping all of the Nintendo Switch games in my office because my 5 and 6-year-old kept leaving them laying all over whatever room they were in with the Switch at the time. When they would like trade one out, I was like finding Switch cartridges in the couch cushions. So now if they want a new Switch cartridge, they have to come trade in the one that they currently have for the new one. Elise Twisted Fate. So this is the Go Hard deck. Definitely mulliganing Stygian Onlooker here. I think I'm mulliganing Risen Mist too. I think I'm looking for ones that can generate 2-for-1s here. Yeah, they don't have a ton of blockers. The Risen Mist might actually be worth keeping. I kind of want to mulligan a bunch looking for like an Elise though. Double Harrowing in the opener feels bad.
Nothing but the stink of blood and sweat.
Yeah, I have a giant SD card. Christy just really, Christy is my wife who just came in to get her Animal Crossing game. Christy just really likes having physical cartridges for things. So, I'm not really impartial either way, so generally speaking, if something has a cartridge, we get it with a cartridge. Someone asked, is Abzan midrange from Khans comparable to LOR midrange decks? So there's definitely LOR midrange decks that are similar to that, but not every Runeterra midrange deck is exactly the same. There's a lot of variety in the midrange decks that exist. Tearfang, thank you for the brand new follow. I appreciate that. Welcome to the channel.
Let's get to it.
How do we feel about Mark of the Isle kill Elise here? I think I'm into it. It might be right to just trade these here, though.
There's plenty of killing left.
I get to bank 2 spell mana here, and then go stalking into Doom Beast, which is great. And then next turn with this 2-drop, I get to go Horror into Doom Beast, which is also great.
I'm always up for a round or two. Eyes open.
Okay, and they're not killing this with Gold Card. They're going to instead start leveling it, which is pretty scary. Level Twisted Fate is not so easy. Okay, there's an Elise. So probably go Elise Doom Beast this turn now.
Closer. I don't.
I don't know. Ash Shajani has a lot of interaction.
Let's do this.
The dead don't need riches.
Yeah, being able to loan games out is really sweet. Like when we played through Breath of the Wild recently, I actually ended up not having to buy it because I borrowed it from a friend, which felt real good. Shijani deck plays big idiots, but it's also pretty interactive. I don't know, a lot of, and one of the things I think card game players in general do too often is they try and draw strict comparisons between things that are just different. And I definitely think that this is one of those instances. Like, I think Runeterra has really pretty deep range of play patterns, and like trying to draw direct comparisons to like archetypes in other games doesn't really work a lot of the time.
They grow up so fast.
Full 420. We're gonna leave out the middle word. Thanks for the follow.
Gotta go with the flow.
That was the pie. It was excellent. We are so unbelievably dead to this Twisted Fate. What's going on, youngest son? We're gonna die. I think that is accurate.
I can't say the number right.
13. You know what a 13 is, dude?
I don't know what the number is called sometimes.
Your brain just breaks? That's okay.
19.
I pull the string.
Soak it in.
Yeah, more than them that's that much more.
Darius is green. I like a timeout for my headphones and a bit. I actually think the Stompy comparison to Elise is pretty apt.
We could use a bite.
We are playing the Fearsome aggro deck. You see this little icon here? It means my monster is scary.
Oh,
Say your farewells.
but you have
Wait a
spider
minute.
deck with we live
Yep,
here.
yep, because Elise, the Spider Queen, is scary. She's got a scary face.
And it spawns spiders, so that's the only way you can get spiders in this deck.
Well, kind of. This is a spider too, so we have some regular spiders. Yes, look at this creepy spider. Look how big it is. Teeth.
Yeah, it doesn't even look
Who says I don't share?
It is in fact a big monster thing.
Yeah, I don't think it even looks like a spider.
Chat wants to know if you're good at math. You're good at math. Yes.
A game. Go on then.
Watch the ball, folks. Blue as the serpentine.
Yeah, we didn't have a super great Fearsome start this game. We're playing Mist Wraith, and then next turn, so long as I have at least one spell mana, we can Harrowing. So I can go... If I play this, I have a blocker, and then I can play this as a burst speed blocker. Yeah, and then Harrowing might get it done.
Dead in their tracks.
I don't think I've had a Skitter die. If they don't pack our bags, are we dead on board here? We're not, right? We take 6-10 down to 3. So not in a great spot, but could be worse. They're not attacking with Twisted Fate, that'd be great. They'll send me up. I mean, it also kills our boards. Like, killing us is irrelevant because we don't have our board. We can't beat them. YOLO swaggy. Is this lethal? I don't even know if this is lethal. Gosh, I don't even get the Mist Wraith back. I just get all these dumb dogs at the start. This isn't even a good ruination. Is Harrowing good in this deck? After casting this Harrowing, I am not convinced that it's very good here.
Soak it in.
King Atrocity's better. Yeah, I could see that. I would perhaps buy that with $1. It's better with Wraith Colors dead, sure. I mean, I don't know. We've had a lot of things die. Like,
What's that you got there?
I think a reasonable summary is like, if we don't have Wraith Callers, our Harrowings are kind of bad. Is that accurate? That feels like an apt description. Like if I don't have Wraith Callers. And like, to be fair, we have like this and Glimpse. So like, we're like pretty good at drawing Wraith Callers, so maybe that's fine. Your opinion on the Oracle Eye stealing jobs from hardworking blockers?
No place for the kind.
Are gonna hurry. That's fair. That's fair. We also, so like that game, and that's why it's good to analyze like what happened in the games too, right? So like Harrowing was mediocre there, but we notably didn't have Wraithcaller and we didn't have Skitterer, which are probably the two best Harrowing targets. And Doom Beast is notably probably the worst among them. Oh boy. Someone tagged me with a Suicune team on the Pokemon VGC channel in the subs Discord. That's great. We're definitely gonna play some more Pokemon on stream next week. It was a lot of fun when we did it on Tuesday. I think that variety segment got over 1,000 views on the YouTube channel too, which is pretty good for my channel. What was it up to? Yeah, 1,100. Nice. Garen Runeterra. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I had never played Pokemon outside of just like playing the actual games casually. It's good with Kalista too. Yeah, we really were missing a ton of our core units that game, huh?
My faith protects me.
Do I personally have a favorite Pokemon? I may have a few favorite Pokemon. If I had to pick a number one, it's probably Sandshrew. And don't ask me to pick between the Alolan and the not Alolan. I love them both equally.
Devotion through battle.
In fact, in my Pokemon Go on my phone, I have an Alolan and a standard Sandshrew, and they're named Jake and Declan. How much democracy to make you pick? Too much. Sending your children to death fights. Pokemon don't die, they just get knocked out. Pokemon is a family-friendly, wholesome brand. Okay?
You cannot sway me.
I really need to take some time and reorganize my desk with the addition of the PS5. Everything's a little crammed. To be fair to Pokemon, the person that dreamed it up initially, I believe, had bug catching in mind, not animals.
My heart and soul.
Nah, I think I'd rather stick to just normal constructed Nightwing. Deck Q's doing pretty solid for just normal constructed, so I think I'm gonna avoid dipping into the alternative game mode.
We do what is right.
Wants to fight Garen, put him up. They could have a, Pale Cascade doesn't get him out of it here. Huh, they could have actually saved their Garen here, right? They could have had this fight here. I guess they're probably a little bit worried about my Wraiths killing them, though. They want to just wipe some of those out. I mean, they could have seen it and just preferred to kill my Mist Wraiths. Because, like, my Mist Wraiths would have all lived if they'd have done that. Like, their Garen would have lived, but my Mist Wraiths also would have lived. With this draw, do we play Arachnoid Horror now? I think so. Mad World, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Oblandia. Now I'm going to take my attack, since they didn't play a blocker. This is a pretty solid hit if we go through here. This is 11, puts them to 2. Putting them to dead to Doom Beast is good. And that's why I assume they're blocking here. They want to ideally leave themselves not dead to Doom Beast.
I fight for the fallen.
Why didn't I Glimpse? Because I can use Glimpse to stall something like this later. And I wasn't about to be losing the mana.
You will be scoured from this land.
Don't single combat me. Don't do it. Have a heart. GL Phoenix, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Oblandia. Thanks everybody for hanging out tonight. Hope you're having a wonderful Thanksgiving if you're in the United States. Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday or Friday wherever you're at in the rest of the world. Hope everybody out there was safe this holiday. Little nervous about what COVID numbers are going to look like here in 2 weeks. The ICU at my local hospital was 90% full going into this weekend, so there's a good chance they could be hitting capacity before long, which is a little nerve-wracking. I think we're mulliganing these. Actually, this is probably fine to keep because it replaces itself. These can generate card advantage as well. I think I just play this, and then we'll play this and attack next turn.
I know what lurks in the shadows. Skitter out.
Elise is a great threat to have to lead on in this matchup because they're very likely an avalanche deck. And Elise notably has that third point of toughness to not die to that.
Warm hearts and hot soups.
Yeah, basically Nightwing. So Avalanche kind of sucks for us here regardless. Do I just open attacks? I think I just open attacks.
You must suffer long.
This lets them eat this, but they take 6, and then if they Avalanche, it kills this in addition to these. Okay, and now oh wait, huh? So I have a decision to make. Do I Pale Cascade to save here without the Nightfall, or do I Risen Mist to trade here? I think I Risen Mist to trade, actually. Because this play says they probably don't have Avalanche. Yeah, a lot of places have started doing sales that are longer lasting, but usually in years past, they also have like their biggest sales on the day of. So hopefully, responsible companies won't be doing that this year, but you know, capitalism, a lot of places aren't responsible. I definitely just open attacks against the Ruination deck, right?
I've carved meat bigger than you.
How do we feel about Stalking Shadow's double Pale Cascade? I think I'm into it. Show me Vile Feast. Hey, that'll do. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Do. And like, sure, they're cleaning out a bunch of my board here, but like, they're at 4 and my hand is full of gas. Seems pretty good. Alright, that is an Anivia, but they're only at 5 mana, so like, you know. Goodbye, friend. Climbing on up the ladder, making back those points. Soraka lost. Yeah, I think if they had a Vile Feast there, they likely would have played it more defensively earlier on. So I think it was pretty right to push there. Yeah, and like that wasn't just a strict like try to call a bluff, right? Like they had openings to Vile Feast earlier in that game and didn't take them. Yeah, the constant flow of cards in this game is deeply satisfying. The fact that you just like, it's pretty rare to run out of gas early. I think this is fine. Maybe I'm gonna mulligan the Glimpse because I have a Stalking Shadows for some card advantage. I don't want too many cards that cost me mana that don't play to the board too early. Wraithcaller was a great draw here. Last time we lost this match, we didn't draw Wraithcaller, Kalista, or Frenzied Skitter at any point, so hopefully this one will go differently with all those. Urkadar, thank you for the 40 months of support. It's a really long time. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you're at. Welcome back. Argano, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Glendia. Chum in the water. It's an interesting card to be playing. I wonder if that's like anti-Fearsome tech. Seems like pretty reasonable anti-Fearsome tech. Yeah, and that's another good example of like, you can't really directly translate from other card games into Runeterra, because, like, people talk about, like, oh, well, how does this compare to Magic? But it's like, well, you can't just say every unit in Runeterra has haste, because every unit also kind of has flash. Slacker, thank you for the sub gift, Jay. I appreciate that. Good evening. Yeah, opponent's got some neat tech choices here. And then depending on what they do here, I might just Risen Miss and smash them. They have Vengeance available, but they don't have a Sweeper, notably. They only have 7 resources. So pretty sure just, like, trading a Wraith for this here is a good exchange for us. This is something I didn't know, because I've only been playing Runeterra for about 5 months now. Apparently this card used to have Fearsome as well. Which is something.
I'm always up for a round or two. Who says I don't share?
There can be no justice, only revenge.
There's plenty of killing men. Ye started without me.
Who's a scary spider? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Oh, did you think you were blocking this turn? Be a damn shame if something happened to those Dorkos. Yeah, that game, the last game we lost this matchup and it felt close. That game we were humming on all cylinders and didn't feel particularly close. Right, our first mirror, huh? Skinner actually seems pretty good. Elise sounds great. I'm gonna keep the rest of these. Yes, yeah. If we manage to luck our way through Diamond, we get into Masters. Usually I end low Masters, high to mid Diamond. For people that are new to the channel, the bulk of the decks that we play here are viewer submissions, so while this deck that we're currently playing is certainly top tier, most of what we play here is not. Once you have all the champions of a certain region, do the champion capsules give you wild cards or shards? Neither, actually. They give you a champion of a different region. I believe at random. So not quite get a wild card good, but definitely much better than just getting shards out of it. You don't get shards instead of champions until you literally have every champion in the game. Oh no. And that is the second time tonight we've bricked on a Wraithcaller in our 3 target card deck. And it does not feel good. So, Allegiance mechanic is a little bit of variance there. It only triggers if the top card of our deck is the same region as ours. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Disoriental. Life is short, and you should play games that you enjoy. Yeah, I mean, like, that trigger miss is likely going to cost us the game. I guess we go digging for Doom Beast. Okay. I think Pale Cascade is super reasonable as is. I think it's a very much a card that I would describe as being on rate. Pale Cascade has not been nerfed before. This is the original printing of this text, right? Am I crazy? This is the original text box, right? Making me second guess myself.
I know what lurks in the shadows.
Is it really possible to enjoy a game if it doesn't exploit you for all you're worth? If you don't have to if you don't have to constantly validate that game's existence or why it's not really predatory, is it even really worth playing? Okay, I mean, this can still block.
Skitter out from the darkness.
This Kalista's gonna level on us, isn't it?
What's your hurry?
Our vengeance has burned long. You have earned your fate.
I probably don't want to be dead to Doom Beast, right? Oh, yeah, my Elise is in front of the wrong thing. Yeah, that should have been. I should still have been Elise on one. Let's see, all these two should have been swapped, right? It's a good catch.
I pull the strings.
Alright, well, we played around that one at least. Dead to Doom Beast is the name of my heavy metal cover band. God bless.
Hush now.
This attack is bad. They could be afraid to block because of Mark here. I explicitly didn't play these because this way if they open on attacks next turn, I could use these to get a decent block in. Insert Spider-Man meme here. Are we dead still? Yeah, right. We need a third Fearsome blocker. This kills this, but I can't block this, and this.
By a thread.
It really is, Phoenix. It's good. Good flexible card. Good flexible emote. Okay, Full Mulligan here, looking for Elise's and Mistwraiths to start. This could be a mirror match where they're just not splashing the Targon card. Sweet, and we found the Elise and we're attacking on even, so that's nice. We get to play this and attack with it, make a spider friend right away.
I know what lurks in the shadows.
Dorian Costly, thank you for the 21 months of support. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
We could use a bite.
Crunch. Well, cooking go on YouTube. It's already on YouTube, Seth. I am planning to add a dedicated pie video I'm gonna clip up and make tonight. That'll have just the bits of pie making. Made a pumpkin pie from scratch over the course of the afternoon. Yeah, that's true, Lyndon. Yeah, I think if I hadn't messed up the Elise block, we probably would have been okay there with the second one making spiders to flipper. That would have given us the extra Fearsome blocker, right?
Now you've gone and upset it.
I think I'd rather trade with their Mistwraith than their 3-2. Catch you later, Seth. Was it easy as pie? It was easier than I expected it to be, if I'm being honest. Huh? I think it's not only meta shifts that made, I think it's not just meta shifts that made Mistwraith better, so much as it's just like, people figured out optimal deck lists too. I think it's definitely part of it. Definitely gonna take some trades here so I can play some Mistwraiths next turn and smack them around. Trade these, go to 13. I have a lot of blockers at the moment. I don't remember the turn you're referring to, Savarhat, but I believe I had resources to play the Doom Beast that turn. So if so, you should do it right away. Obviously, if I was out of resources to play anything else, I should wait, but if I had resources to play stuff, it makes sense to do it right away. Alright, I think we're looking for a spider here now to shrink their stuff. Stiggy and A. I guess we just take this for some Drano. I mean, waiting to draw one more card doesn't make you more likely to draw a Doombeast Safari Hat. The top 5 cards of your deck are random. So, like, waiting a turn doesn't statistically increase your probability at all.
Suffer long.
Yeah, if you have a chance to play the card that turn, you should just take it. Waiting doesn't change your probabilities at all. I can't tell if boards trading off here is good for us or bad for us. That's actually true. If you missed on Wraithcaller, you know your top card is Pale Cascade, you could wait. Well, neither of us are harrowing this turn. So we probably go Mist Wraith into Doom Boy into this open attacks next turn. Seems like the likely sequence. Now we might Pale Cascade on defense. They attack and offer the trade. I don't actually know what Stalking Shadows does. It's a good question, though. Agreed. If they want to put this here, I'm okay with that. Super dead to their harrowing next turn. I mean, not necessarily bruised by dog. Like, I don't think trading off boards is indicative of anything. Like, I don't have a harrowing and I'm trading off boards aggressively. I think assuming they have harrowing here is just like one of the typical things TCG players do where they just assume their opponent always has the worst possible card for them. Very human impulse. So like here, this is actually indicative of if they have harrowing, they wouldn't play this, right? So like, I think your read on harrowing there is very incorrect. Yeah, they don't play out more units here if they have harrowing.
you've gone and upset it.
The real card game thing to happen right now is the opponent top taking Harwing after not playing to it. Yep. It's not bad. I mean, they're definitely attacking, right? They played out the ephemeral one. They played out Stygian. Sure. So we're gonna have 0 things that can block Fearsome at the start of next turn. So, like, we'll draw some Fearsomes here, and then we'll do both of these, and then kill them on opens, hopefully. We even have enough mana to Pale Cascade next turn as well. Monarch of War HS, thanks for the follow, I appreciate that. Welcome to Glandy and welcome to Runeterra. I assume HS means you were previously a Hearthstone player. Hope you're enjoying this one. It's definitely my favorite digital card game out there right now. Card game in general, even just digital. Favorite card game in general. The mist sauce. Alright, so one in mystery premieres this evening. I wish Twitch had a setting to turn chat to follower mode less than 10 minutes, like 3 or 5 minutes I think would be reasonable, but unfortunately turning follower mode off means we get an unreasonable number of spam bots that I'd prefer not to deal with. I have the EU Masters Tournament on the weekends, but as someone who has a 5-month-old, a 5-year-old, and a 6-year-old, it's hard to say that I'm like full on watching it. So I catch bits and pieces, but definitely not watching it start to finish with everything else going on in my house on average.
Come closer.
What is the overall grade of the pie? Well, now that Christy's no longer watching the stream, I think my pumpkin pie was passable. I don't know that I'd say it's as good as store-bought pie, but it's like, it wasn't bad. I ate a quarter of it this evening when we started the stream. I think the format of the event is novel. That's definitely what I'm gonna say from now on. The pie gets a 3.14 rating out of 5. Accurate to my feelings about it. Oh no, she's still watching, chat. Why does she still have my stream on? She knows my deep, dark, dirty secrets. Oh no. Crilly Dactyl there in chat is my lovely wife, for those of you at home who are new. So I think this compares to the Ionia variation with the Go Get It Splash. Honestly, it feels very similar. Like, at the core, they're like 3 cards different, which is about a wash. How are the casseroles? Stellar. The potato casserole especially turned out very good. We hadn't sauteed the onions before we put them in there. That was the first time we'd done that. It turned out as delicious. So easy cascade here to trade up into their 4-3.
No one's the wiser.
Yeah, you gotta understand my background, Logan, when it comes to cooking. So in the before times when it was reasonable to go out to eat regularly, Christy and I probably got takeout 6 to 10 times per week. Sometimes twice in the same day. We didn't really do a lot of our own cooking. So we've definitely started doing a whole lot more since the pandemic started. We had like a 4-month stretch where we didn't do any takeout at all, and then we did a couple of times, and then now that the cases numbers have shot way up again, we're back to not doing any. So all their spiders, it's gonna be a very challenging turn for us, chat. We do this. Keep our life total high. You shall return. Doom Beast in hand, looking really good in this aggro matchup. Unhelpful Yoda. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for hanging out. If anybody's new in the channel tonight, by the way, if you enjoy the feel of the channel here and you enjoy constructed Runeterra, it's definitely a great place for you to be. I also have a YouTube channel where I not only post full stream archives, so I cut everything up deck by deck, usually play 2 to 3 different Runeterra decks every single day, but I also post a shorter highlight deck video there that's usually 20 to 30 minutes every single day, so if you're ever short on time but want to get a little bit of Runeterra, it's a great way to do that as well. Appreciate the folks that give that a check out also. I think we're just Kalista into Doom Beast here. Just kind of want one to buffer the life total backup with this, but also want maximum Fearsome blockers in play. The plays are a little overwhelming here. Does not feel good for our hero. I assume they're going to open on attacks here and bust us up. If they don't open on attacks, they might have a Darius, which would also be very, very bad for us. Pretty sure we're just dead to rights to a Darius. He'll be leveled here, which will make him 10. Well, that's not quite a Darius, but still really not good for us.
There's nothing.
Ugh.
Gutsy and strength.
Do it yourself, Darius. Yep. You're not going to attack with these for some reason? Why would you not attack with those? I'm not dead yet. I have no idea why they didn't attack me with 2-1s, but, you know, we take those. Very, very confused. Oh, am I just doing this? Playing this was probably wrong, right? Yeah, I think we're just doing this. Time to play my favorite game. Is this harrowing lethal? Let's find out, shall we? We're learning together.
They will bleed for Noxus. My axe is ready.
Do 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 do. I have 1 +2/+2 here.
Scurry, weakling.
Just going through their mind that they didn't attack with these 2/1s. Think like what were they playing? There must be a card that I'm not thinking of that they were playing around by leaving those back. Like we're not in the regions for judgment, right? To our men, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Hoaglandia. It's another one of we take those for the we take those pile. Yep. Fair. Yeah, probably just a mistake. Probably overthought it. Hey, nice Monarch. Yeah, Runeterra easily has, like, simultaneously both the most generous free-to-play and pay-to-play systems out there. Good. They obviously, Riot understands they just want a lot of people to start playing their games. They want it to be accessible. Hey, thanks for the gift window, Head. I appreciate it. It's definitely a good, I feel like that's a good first deck to pick up. It'll really teach you the ins and outs of how to be interactive and when. Speaking of Go Hard Twisted Fate. Huh. Am I mulligan this one? I kind of think I'm in for the rest of these. Again, we're attacking on evens, which is great for having Elise in the opener. Yeah, I'm gonna keep these other ones. These other ones all generate card advantage. Never forget, chat, the shuffler is as rigged as the earth is flat.
Nothing like the stink of blood and
You
sweat.
put GP in the Go Hard deck. I'm actually not sure, Monarch. So we've played one variation of the Go Hard deck on stream that didn't have GP in it. And the next time we play it, we're definitely gonna have GP in it. Towards the top of the deck here, we're gonna get to it tomorrow night. Did I foobar? I might have foobarred the deck cube. I think I dropped one that I probably shouldn't have dropped. I'll have to check my revisions. Because there was definitely another go hard deck in there that's not there now. I might have deleted it by mistake. God bless Google Docs having revisions. I disagree with your mulligan decision, Shuffler, right?
Hush now.
You poor thing.
If you open up Go Hard in your deck editor, it'll have pack your bags behind it to show the card that it creates.
Didn't know the box had sent for you.
Don't know much, do ya?
We shall not rest until all betrayers pay.
Yeah, like mid-range combo, mid-range control is definitely what I would describe the Go Twisted deck as. What do they have? 2 go hards here? I played this out because it wouldn't die to 1 with the barrel, but they could have 2, and they were just planning to kill the Elise, but now they're going to kill this instead. Vialty, sure.
The dead don't need riches.
I'm gonna trade this for a 2-1. This can't block Elise anyways. It doesn't block my spider profitably either.
Now you've gone and upset it.
Gotta go with the flow.
Got a lot of spooky dorks here. Get like a solid hit in for 9. Plus make a spider print.
Suffer long.
If they block this, do I Pale Cascade to kill this? Sure that I do. I think I'd rather bank the spell mana so I can Stalking Shadows next turn with 5 up. So opponents played 1 go hard so far this game, so there's still a number of them off before they can tell us to pack our bags. That's great. Should help us work towards having a lethal attack next turn. West Coast, Best Coast. Hope you're doing well on the left coast out there. West Coast, Best Coast is left coast.
Surprise for him.
Thank you. Thank you for the happy hour. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Now we'll easily trade Stygian for a 2-1 here. It's fine. 12. Huh. Okay. And then, like, next turn I do this, I think. And then smack them. Yeah, the last Go Hard player we played against was trying out some new technology. They had Butcher in their deck. The one that when it dies, it makes a 4/3. And they were actually playing the Chum in the Waters, the Fizz spell. So we get to go this, into this, into this. And then we have Mark plus Pale Cascade as tricks to push extra damage and protect from things like, that deal damage from our opponent here.
I'm always up for a round or two.
Gold card, sure.
Hold it, partner.
Look at this. Look at this Best Owl Boy chat. Best Owl Boy NA. Grow, my pretty, grow. Who is a spooky owl? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Got the beer in him, chat. Rita Hin, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. How is the standing desk? Very reasonable. The particular brand of standing desk I have is kind of medium, but in general, having a standing desk is a worthwhile quality of life upgrade. as an aging individual who spends a lot of time at the computer. I have an uplift brain standing desk, which the electronics are kind of foobarred in, but it's not bad enough to replace them. I just have to manually reset it a few times a week when it stops working. Yeah, this was a piece of technology we saw earlier. This seems like a really neat card to tech against our Fearsomes here. Ooh, okay, so they've got a few different things going on here. Also worth noting, based on my opponent's champion lineup here, they're only on 2 Elise. Because normally, if your champions have the same number, they're ordered by converted cost. So we'd have Elise, Twisted Fate if they were both 3. I mean, you could definitely do that, Monarch, depending on how much time you have to play and learn. I think I hit Masters the 2nd season I was playing. 1st or 2nd, I forget exactly what the timeline was. You've been into Masters twice on stream.
We shall pierce their treasonous hearts.
Their treasonous hearts. One treason, please.
Get bloody, get paid. Oh, artifact. Not gonna lie, still at least this much salty that Gaben scammed me out of my money with artifact. It's $250 I'll never get back. I remember thinking the game was mediocre, but I bought a playset of cards anyways because I thought I was certain that a company as big as Valve wouldn't backpedal on their promise to, like, deliver on a large tournament. And then they backpedaled on their promise to deliver a large tournament. I'm really surprised that in 2020 there wasn't a class action lawsuit against them for that. Well, I didn't expect the game to necessarily not fail. It's a tough market, and their actual game was kind of mediocre. But, like, I expected them to at least, like, put on the large tournament they promised to put on. Like, it was a big promise that, like, I'm sure I'm not the only one that was like, oh, I should throw $100 or whatever at this to have cards to play in a tournament that could have that kind of money in it. Pep, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. And for people that aren't familiar with Valve's failed card game venture, they made the promise during their closed beta that Artifact would have a tournament with a $1 million first place prize, plus other prizes past that in 2019. Or was it 2020? No, it's definitely 2019. It was last year, so I remember the deadline being up. But definitely they promised in 2019.
Looks like trouble.
Yeah, I think Artifact was doomed to fail because of its economic model too from the start. Trying to mimic the Magic Online economy in 2020 was like a heck of a decision.
Control, thanks for the host. Hope you had a great stream. You're hanging out, playing some Runeterra this evening. Playing a little bit of Fearsome aggro here on the ladder and Diamond something, I don't know. I don't really keep track of my rank too much. So, I probably don't want to play Elise out here. I guess if I play Elise and we play Frenzied Skitter next turn, Skitter gives Elise enough power to attack into here. Yeah, that's fine.
There can be no justice, only revenge.
Next turn we can do this, then smash them for a bunch. That's actually probably one of the better draws in our deck, because it's another card we can play out in addition to this that also has Fearsome. Evening, Kyle. Gobble gobble to you as well. If you're new to the channel, coming over from Control stream, welcome. I stream full-time here on Twitch. Runeterra is probably about 50% of what I stream. I usually do 1 or 2 different Runeterra decks almost every single day of the week. I also do a lot of other turn-based strategy games as well as single-player story-driven games. Usually here for a few hours every evening and a few hours every morning. I do a bit of a split shift because I have 3 small children, who 2 of which are remote learning in kindergarten and 1st grade, so I'm doing homework and running around with them during the day while my wife is working. That's certainly timing on that. They definitely should have waited for that. Oh, did they think Whale was gonna hit me and trigger Butcher, maybe? Maybe they thought the Butcher was gonna get Plunder off of that? That would explain it. How dead are you? Not dead this turn, but likely dead next turn. They can, like, block here, trade here. And then they go to, like, 3. So Doom Beast is lethal next turn. Not quite. I won't exactly have enough mana. I'm really gonna have 7. Grande, Luck, and Dark Tost, thank you for the follows. Welcome to Glandia. I wanted you to be 1 card further down, Doom Boy. Well, the opponent's in Diamond like we are, but there's definitely a chance they're newer to the deck that they're playing. There's a chance that they, like, climbed with something else and aren't quite familiar with all the cards and what they're currently playing with. There's a lot of different competitive decks in Runeterra, so sometimes it can take a little bit of used to transition to a new one. Skitterer is very good.
Leaving so soon, the little ones will miss you. Speaking of Thanksgiving, if you didn't watch, my wife and I, we spent the afternoon doing all of our Thanksgiving Day cooking on stream, and there's a YouTube video of that. I'm also going to clip up some highlights of it, and Declan and Jake were definitely involved at different points. They were real cute. Full mulliganing here. While Harrowing's one of our better cards to control matchup long term, I'm definitely looking for things like Elise and Stalking Shadows early, none of which these cards are. How's Lulu? So, Lulu and Tarek have a lot of similar issues in that they're pretty linear, one-dimensional champions. They're basically only good at attacking, and gameplay in Runeterra tends to be dynamic enough that cards that are only good in one mode tend to not be particularly stellar overall. Because the good aggro decks in Runeterra tend to take defensive roles with some draws and in some matchups. So having that lack of flexibility is a pretty big drawback. Doasarfic, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Homelandia. You have grasped my Kalista firmly in your hands. We just Wraithcaller next turn.
Holy crap, we are so unlucky with this card tonight. We have 3 misses for Allegiance in our deck, and we have missed 3 times in an hour and a half. It's real gross.
You have to get me out of here.
Do you not get LP when you're put into? You do not, Monarch. You have to play at least a couple of turns. I believe the person instant conceding still loses rank, but the person playing against them definitely doesn't gain it. You know what? This might be wrong against an Avalanche deck. I'm probably supposed to lead on this.
We shall not rest until all betrayals.
Till all betrayals pay. We'll play this burst spell here. We'll get to attacking. Spell block here. We'll Pale Cascade her to keep her alive. Do I Pale Cascade to keep alive? They might be... You know what, honestly? Is it crazy to Pale Cascade just to push damage? They're a Ruination deck, right? Like, I definitely want to play one of these to cantrip it, but I think I'd rather push damage than keep this alive. Like, they're an Avalanche Ruination deck. This sucks against Grasp. Like, if they Grasp this, I lose out on some of that damage now, but I don't want Pale Cascades rotting in my hand, and I think this is better against Avalanche, and it's marginally better against what's it called? Ruination as well. This is fine.
What's that noise? Can see the Demacian border.
$10 because there are less submissions. No, I've just been streaming more Runeterra half quarter. So, if you remember, I did $10 submissions for Magic for a really long time as well. And then part of the reason why I increased the price of submissions under Magic was because Magic had gotten to a point where brewing just wasn't friendly, so most of the decks people were paying me to play were god-awful, and I was just losing for an hour with them. So I increased the price so that way at least if I was going to be miserable, people were paying me more to be miserable. And then ultimately that misery is what led to me moving away from doing Magic content. Reverse Den, thanks for the follow. DJ Smith, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Hoglandia, folks. Oh, you know what? I messed up here. I was thinking if they had a sweeper, we'd be throwing next turn, but we're only going to be on 8, right? So this was 1 turn too soon. I shouldn't have played both those out. I should have banked a spell mana so I can do this turn. It's a pretty good draw.
Forever watch.
If they have a ramp spell, this levels up next turn. They have a catalyst. They have a grasp, sure.
This is our time.
They have Ruination. This isn't great for us. We're okay against Avalanche. Yeah. We're just like hoping to spike another Harrowing here. One more of those. Yeah, sometimes, a lot of the time you have play around sweepers in this game. That's definitely not one of those moments, though. Yeah, we get to gas up here at least. Nershaw, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Oglandia. Okay, so none of those are the second Harrowing we're looking for. Their Anivia leaves an egg and is going to come back here, but it is what it is.
Opponent's still at a very healthy
A
15,
new
which is a little
era
scary.
begins.
Come on in.
Very, very healthy 18. This deals 2 to everything when it attacks. Great, and this entreat means that they have a Harsh Winds in their hand now, which can frostbite 2 of my things. Which is not great for us. Means these Mist Wraiths can't kill them, but they otherwise would be able to. Sure. I'm gonna play the Ephemeral Skitter here because my opponent is gonna attack with this next turn and wipe it anyways, so I'll the real one for after that happens. So we'll see this block here, and then they'll flash freeze these, take 3 down to 15. Now, the good news about them attacking next turn to kill these is that it means I'll be able to use my mana to deploy things from my hand at least.
For my homeland.
And then these are dying anyway, so I get free blocks. This current format is the best Runeterra format since I started playing Leoslav. The Lee meta would explicitly be a low point for me personally. The current format is super reasonable.
Come closer. I don't bite.
Is there a good way to introduce strategy board games to new people? Yeah, you need what I would refer to as a good gateway game to do that.
Now you've gone and upset it.
I think my recommendations for gateway board games would either be Menu Masters or what's the other one? New York Slice.
They grow up so fast.
Menu Masters and New York Slice are both games that do a good job of being very tangible in as to what the players have to do in them. So it's really easy for non-gaming people to understand the basis of what's going on. It's actually a pretty good draw. Save one of these from another whale or vile beast. That's true. I am biased in favor of New York Slice because I am their current reigning world champion. So perhaps it is unfair of me to recommend their game.
You won't suffer long.
So we know they have another Harsh Winds because they entreated for an Anivia earlier. So we know that's coming.
I protect this place.
Alright, please second Pale Cascade to try and kill them here. Gosh, we're so close. That's so close to lethal. Zephyr Nor, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that if you're still here.
Return to us.
Alright, well, we're on harrowing or bust at this point, right? 13 cards left, chat fam. Squirrel Squad! Thank you for the 15 months. I'm sure you'll be ecstatic to know, Squirrel Squad, that I'm planning to do more Pokemon VGC next week. Went over very well on Tuesday.
Am I dead next turn? 4, 10, 14? Not dead yet.
Welcome to the tipsy hour.
There's nothing to fear.
Sure, I mean, they could be. You could always sit there and think about the worst possible cards your opponent can have for you in every given situation, but you can't control the cards they have. All you can do is think about the cards that you have to draw that give you odds to win the game. What kind of teams are we thinking about playing? Ones that people send to me that look reasonable. ones that I nick off the internet. Earlier this week was my first time playing Pokemon VGC, so I really don't know the ins and outs of it super well. And they have plenty of, what's it called, blockers. Does Doom Beast buy us another turn here? Might. Yeah, if they were -3 from Tavern Keeper, we could kill them with this, right? I'm dead to opens, right?
That egg.
Did it move?
I must get out of here.
Pirate aggro is still a thing. Yeah, it's not like the tier 1, tier 0 deck that it was previously, but it's definitely still competitive. One of the great things about Runeterra is that decks basically don't ever go away. They just get made slightly worse with nerfs when they happen, or when the meta adjusts. So like things just go from like, if there's something that's considered like on top of everything else, it just gets knocked down a peg when the adjustments happen. I feel like the one comparison I need to kind of make, all right, the best way I can contextualize this for you, DJ Smith, is to give you a metric. Before I started streaming Runeterra, I was one of the largest Magic the Gathering streamers on Twitch, and I have elected to give up approximately 1,000 subscribers per month to stop playing Magic the Gathering and instead play this much, much better game. In my opinion, the only reason Magic the Gathering is more popular than Runeterra is because it has a 26-year head start. As someone who's played Magic for 2 decades now, Runeterra is the best card game that I have ever played, and Riot honestly is not only is like the core gameplay of Runeterra absurd, but the way Riot has elected to manage their games so far is just better than any other card game I've ever played in terms of management. So, in less self-righteous, selfish understanding, whatever you want to say, part of the reason why I've taken a hit to move to Runeterra 2 past just enjoying it more is I think Runeterra has a lot of growth potential, and I also think Runeterra, I don't think Riot's really dug into advertising Runeterra fully yet, because if you remember, there's gonna be 2 more regions in this game before they're done, right? We're only on 8 of the 10 regions when things are fully fleshed out, and we're just seeing, you know, the tournament on in December. The first seasonal tournament is their first esports venture where their tournament client is going to be ready for the first time, and tournament spectator mode is going to be ready. So I wouldn't be surprised if Riot's waiting to really start doing a push until they've made sure they've worked out all the bugs in their tournament client, they have their spectator mode down so they can do really professional coverage, so that way they have their full card pool there so all the regions are available. I also think they probably want more champions overall in the game. I think one big way they bring in people from League of Legends and their other IPs is if those people can find their favorite champions in in Runeterra. You know, even a lot of the people that came with me for Magic, I've heard a lot of, oh, I can't wait for champion X or champion Y to get into Runeterra. Yeah, I think people get attached to characters in games like that, and being able to have more of those available makes it easier to pull new people in. Yeah, there's still a lot of champions. There's like 150 or 151 champions in League of Legends, so still a good number to bring into here. Grateful, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Hoaglandia. All right, to have a little bit of a concise wrap on this deck before we move along. I don't really know that I played enough games to have an educated opinion on Pale Cascade versus is it Go Get It? So there is another variation of this deck that we've played that instead of splashing Targon for Pale Cascade, splashes this Iona card, because this card's pretty sweet at picking up and making more Wraith Callers, among other things. It's also kind of cheeky with Doom Beast for extra reach. I do know that this archetype in general, the core kind of fearsome archetype, is very, very good. I think in general, like, this archetype is easily one of the tier 1 decks in the game right now, and I think we're going to see it get a bit more popular as time progresses. I expect this to be a very popular deck in people's lineups for the seasonal tournament that we were talking about that's going to be happening in December. Argon and PKY, thanks for the follows. Welcome to Hoaglandia. But as far as like having a feel for this card versus this card after playing a few hours of each of these decks, I don't really know that I have a good beat on which does which. I will say that Mark of the Isles impressed me, so I don't know that I'm strictly into this over this, but I do think having some number of these to have at least some combat tricks is probably something worth having. So I am not likely to get to Masters playing mostly viewer decks on stream, but I plan to play the Last Chance tournament. And if I qualify that way, I'll almost assuredly play A-Dash. So, it's important to remember that while I love Runeterra's gameplay, and I think Runeterra has less variance than a lot of other card games, it's still a card game, and you should have reasonable expectations. You know, even if you play well, you're not going to win all of the time. When's the Last Chance tournament? I think it's December 5th, or the day before, the 5th or 6th, I think. I need to check the calendar. At any rate, we've still got over 300 people in here tonight, so I was only going to do 2 decks, but I think I'm going to sneak a 3rd deck in this evening.